Hello, it's Regina. Welcome back to my haunted library. Today I wanted to do something a little different and tell a story. This is a true story, and it is about a psychic experience that I had about 8 years ago. Just wanted to get right off the bat and say I'm not a psychic, but I've had psychic experiences. This one I'm going to talk about today was a very dramatic one. I was walking Lily, and this is just a couple blocks from my house, just taking Lily out for her morning walk, and I passed the same place that I pass every day. And as I was waiting for the traffic light to change, I'm standing next to this old Victorian brownstone that at that time was apartment buildings. So the first thing I remember as being very strange was when I was standing next to the building, I felt this incredible heat coming off the building. So I've never really had any kind of psychic experience where I've had a deal on like levels of multiple senses. I've had things like visions, I guess you could call it, or things that I've thought, ideas that maybe had some kind of psychic component. But this was the first time where there was actually like a physical feeling about this. And there were other things that happened too, which I'll explain. So I felt this intense heat coming off this building, and I remember looking to see if there was like some kind of vent that maybe some hot air was blasting off this building, but there wasn't. It was just this heat. And then the heat made me think about fire. And then this all happened like really quick. And then I had this vision. So what is a vision? It's just this picture in my brain, very, in 3D and Technicolor of the building that I was standing next to on fire. So I remember thinking, wow, I'm glad the Delaware River's right there, because if these flames were to shoot out of this building and God forbid I was set on fire, at least I could run and dive into the river with Lily and hopefully survive. So this was a weird thought that this vision kind of put in my brain. So then the light changed and I crossed the street and I continued on with my day. So the next weird thing that happened was about 5 o'clock in the evening, every smoke alarm inside my house went off. There was no fire, there was no smoke, but every alarm in the house went off. And I live in an old Victorian house with 3 stories, and so with high ceilings. And I remember we had to take a ladder and put the ladder up so we could climb up and physically turn off the alarms. So it was like, well, that's weird. What is making these alarms go off? There was, we were a little concerned, but there was no smoke and no fire. Now, sometimes if it gets really humid, they will go off. So that could be an explanation. So it was about maybe 9 o'clock that night when the fire started. We heard the sirens and we rushed down along with a lot of other people to see this building completely engulfed in flames. So what happened is that it was a case of arson. A rejected lover of a tenant decided to set, I think it was his clothes on fire in the doorway of that building. So exactly where I saw in my vision the flames shooting out from the door is where the fire started. Now, luckily, no one was hurt. The woman who started the fire was apprehended. So after the fire, it was unfortunately not the end of the strange occurrences around that building. The shell of the building stayed up for years, and eventually someone bought it, and a man was attempting to renovate it when tragedy struck again. The wall collapsed on top of him, and he was covered with bricks and debris and was seriously injured. I believe he was in a coma, and I'm not sure if he ever recovered. The building then was going to be demolished, and the last strange thing, hopefully the last strange thing that happened, is that when some workers were down in the foundation of the building, again there was a collapse. The foundation of mud and whatever was down there collapsed on top of these men. Luckily, they were able to get out without being seriously injured. Eventually, the entire building was just razed, and this new apartment building was put in its place. So far, I don't think anyone's rented this apartment, but I'm sure they will. So what does all this mean? I don't know. And it's a strange coincidence. Hopefully nothing bad will continue to happen in that place. I don't know what I experienced when I felt those powerful physical sensations of the heat, the vision I had, and then the smoke alarms going off. It may just be coincidence. I'm a real skeptic when it comes to this stuff, but I do know it's the truth. It happened. So I just wanted to share that story. I do believe in energies, and I do believe that you can be in tune with them sometimes and pick up on things. Intense emotions happen, and people do insane things sometimes when they're experiencing these intense emotions. And certain places do have energy fields, and I've had experiences with others that I will share with you. So that's my story for today. I hope you enjoyed my true psychic experience, and I will see you next time in my haunted library. Stay safe. Bye.